Okay.
This is episode 8 of the Caution Free podcast. I'm your host, Colton Sutley, along with my co-host, Tim Friedhaber. And thank God that was a better intro than last episode. Really stuttered over my words last time. But since this is going to be dropping the week of uh the oh shoot the Outlaw opener off. Okay, Tim, thanks for putting something a funny joke in the notes while I was trying to talk. But yeah, so since this is going to be dropping on the 5th and the Outlaw opener is the 7th, we're going to do a big national sprint car preview of both the Outlaws and the High Limit series. Um so
Outlaw sprint cars.
well, so when I say Outlaws, I usually mean sprint cars because they are the original Outlaws and the late models were only invented in like 2004 or something like that. So they're
Hmm.
like they're like the off-brand version of the
Like
Outlaws.
the they're like the great value version.
Yeah, off-brand, you know. Um, so to start out, we're gonna just do a comparison of the Outlaw sprint car drivers versus the high limit sprint car drivers. The ratings I got off of sprintcarratings.com. Great follow on Twitter and good website to use for lots of stats and info and to kind of get an idea of all the schedules of all the sprint car races going on. But the ratings are based off the past 2 years. Um, if you want, Tim, you can go over the Outlaws or and then I can go over the high limit ones and then
Yeah, so
afterwards we can discuss.
are these ratings like their percentage of like overall wins, or what are they? Just like ratings as a driver?
Um, yeah, ratings as a driver, he takes into account how many wins they have, how much money earned they have, the competition they face, like how many cars. Like he takes into effect a multitude of factors and somehow
Okay.
compiles it into a rating.
Okay. Yeah. So for the Outlaw sprint cars, Logan Schuchart is um
He's third in the country.
okay,
That's what
that's what that
yeah.
means. Okay.
Yeah,
He's
sorry, my bad.
Yeah, he's third in the country, first in Outlaws, with a rating of 0.7345. David Gravel is second overall, number four with a rating of 7.7180. Carson Macedo is third overall, third in Outlaws, overall fifth with a rating of 0.6761. I'm going to stop reading the ratings. Um,
Okay.
Donnie Schatz is fourth in Outlaws, six overall, um, point 0.6 rating. I'll just say the first number instead of reading the first four numbers.
Okay.
Uh, Sheldon Hodgenfield is 11th overall, fifth in the Outlaws with a rating of 0.57. Gio Scelzi is 13th overall, sixth in the Outlaws with a rating of 0.53. Buddy Kofoid is 17 overall, seventh in the Outlaws with a rating of zero point 0.5. Bill Baylog, it's Balog, Baylog,
Baylog.
Balog.
Baylog.
Bill Bill Baylog is 28th overall, eighth in the Outlaws with a rating of 0.40. Brock Z Frost is 41 overall with a rating of 0.34, and he's ninth in the Outlaws. Noah Gass is 10th in the Outlaws, 128th overall with a rating of 0.22. Bill Rose is 208th overall, 10th or 11th in the
11th.
Outlaws. Yeah, sorry, 11th in the Outlaws with a rating of 0.16. And Landon Crawley is some number overall and is 12th in the Outlaws with a rating of not yet to be determined.
Yeah, I don't know how many 410 races he ran last year, but he didn't run enough. He only sprintcarratings.com, they only have like 260 some 410 drivers ranked, so he did not run enough the past 2 years to, I mean, he's only like I think he turns like 16 like on the like sometime this week, so just barely old
Cool.
enough to run the Outlaws. But and then Bill Rose, I saw today, he did make an announcement, or he posted on Twitter that there's an announcement coming tomorrow. So I don't know if that means he's having someone else drive his car, or I'm not sure. It's probably just like the what wrap he's driving with.
Have
And
you been seeing these drivers get these like golden ticket things?
yeah, it's a bunch of TRD drivers,
Okay.
Toyota Racing Development, and what it was is they're just all uh getting sponsored by Mobile One this
Okay.
year, and they just like they had a video of them like all showing up and open the garage door, and there's all their paint scheme or some of their paint schemes that they're going to be
Okay.
running. And that,
Cool.
yeah, I was seeing that, and I saw Christopher Bell get it, and like I saw Buddy Coford got it, and then
Yeah.
Christopher Bell, and I'm like, something with sprint cars, fingers crossed, Seabell's coming back, but it was not to be. But I'll make a graphic for these ratings by the time we drop the episode so everybody can actually see them. I realized 10 minutes before recording that I should have done that so we could have just shared the screen, but it's okay. We'll make do with it. And then now I'll go over to the high limit uh ratings right now. So Brent Marks, he's number one in the country with .76. Brad Sweet is number seven, which surprised me that he was that low with .66. And then Rico Abreu, eighth in the nation with .64. Tyler Courtney was 10th in the nation with .58. James McFadden was 12th with 50.53. Justin Peck was 14th with .52. Then Zeb Wise was 19th with .48. Then Jacob Allen, 21st in the nation with .46. Then Spencer Baston, 22nd with .4580, because Corey Eliason was 23rd in the nation with .4525. Uh, I said Corey Eliason, right?
Yeah.
Okay, because and 24th is Corey Day with .44. So I thought I got confused there and said the wrong name for a second. Parker Price Miller was 27th in the nation with .41. And then Casey Kane was 47th with .32. Chris Wyndham was 62nd with .30. Brennan Crouch was 94th with .26. Then Tanner Thorson was 99th with .25. Connor Morrell was 166 with .19. And then, man, that was a lot of teams. But then with the high limit midweek series, only just the midweek, running the midweek only, that Kyle Larson, he was second, excuse me, second in the nation with .74, and Cap Henry was 29th with .39. So just, I mean, let's just kind of like talk about how like the comparison. I have them in the chart so that we can both look at it. And the
Yeah.
viewers can look at a graphic I'll make by the time this comes out.
We can also put this graphic in post on this video if you want.
Yeah, we can. Yeah, so while we're talking, they can kind of see it for themselves and stuff. Now,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't. I'm not. I don't edit
I'll
videos,
do it.
so
I'll do
so
it.
that's why I didn't think of it.
Um, yeah. I mean, overall, it seems like there's like more of like the high ground and the high limit, or not, sorry, in the Outlaw series, like the rankings for drivers, it feels like to me high limit's kind of like, I mean, I guess top 10 is big, but if we're looking at just like, I guess we'll say top 11 to include Sheldon, or let's go top 15. There's one, two, three, four, five, six in Outlaws, one, two, three, four, five, six, seven in top 15. So I think that the high limit series is really like most of these guys are they're all in top 100 except for Conor Morel.
Yeah,
And
and
then
Tanner Thorson, he ran very few sprint car races,
mhm,
410 races the past 2 years. So that's partly why his rating's so low. I believe if he ran at full, because a lot of these guys were like all stars or like they ran
mhm,
like 40 plus races at least and each year. So if Thorson ran that many, I feel like he would have had a higher rating than what he does.
yeah, I would agree.
And then I think Brock Searfrost would have a higher one if he didn't run with the Outlaws and have to compete against top level competition all the time.
Yeah, but
But
even being 41 in the
yeah,
country is
I
very
mean,
good.
yeah, like just I'm the top, just looking at like the top five drivers or the top, yeah, let's just say the top five. I would say like the Outlaws have the better drivers because they got three guys in the top five, and the high limit only has one for the full series. Now, if you include the midweek, they'd have two with Larson, but
Very odd to me how Brad Sweet is not in top five.
I I think some of it has to do with he's very consistent. Not necessarily he doesn't necessarily have the wins like the other guys, and like Donnie Schatz, not this past season, but season before, he won the Knoxville Nationals.
Hmm.
He won the Kings Royal this past year. So like those high money shows, like the money earned and like the level of competition for both races probably pushed them above Brad.
Right, so
And
that's why
like
Logan Schuchart's so high.
yeah, with winning the million. And
Okay,
but
that
he
makes
did
sense.
have two good seasons though. So it's not just like the million can make you number one. I mean, Brent Marks, a big reason why he was number one was the year he had 2 years ago because he won the historical big one and the Kings Royal, and that was like almost 300,000 like
Hmm.
total he earned just from those two races in like 1 week. So, but I would say looking at the top five drivers, just off based off these ratings, the Outlaws have the better top five. But as you go through, like just go to like the top 10 drivers. So Noah Gas on the Outlaws side would be the 10th driver, and then Corey
Hmm.
Eliason would be the 10th on the high limit side. And it's like the high limit just kind of they start blowing them away. And even if you just go to the 412 field of Outlaws versus the top 12 in high limit, it's
Still top 30 versus guys that are
yeah,
40 and below.
yeah. There's like the Outlaws have what, four guys 40 or below, and then a high limit from like their 12th guy to their best is 27 and to
Hmm.
1. And then you still have
Take,
people in the top 50 after that.
yeah, yeah.
So the Outlaws, I feel like they're just as good as in years past. They're just as, not super top heavy, but top heavy enough that and like good enough that like it's gonna be hard to beat them, like have non-outlaw winners. But High Limit has the depth that like you can't compete with how deep the roster goes. But how many of those guys actually do the whole season is like a big question everybody's been asking.
I bet a good amount of them do the whole season.
Um, that they said Brad Sweet said they only plan on having 14 cars. They like that's how their points money. They planned on having 14 cars. So it'll be interesting now that they have 17 if they have that money for the three more. But I don't think they all end up going the whole season. I mean,
Yeah,
that West Coast swing is going to be hard going from Knoxville to like the West Coast in like a week, and then
that's
they
true.
gotta go from California, or no, they gotta go from Skagit in Washington to Port Royal in like 5 days, and so now that's gonna be tough. And a lot of these guys haven't ran like out in the West Coast hardly at all. Most of them just did like the All Stars and stuff. So,
Yeah.
but I mean,
Well, let's do the season prediction. You
okay.
can go first.
Oh, okay. Um, so we're gonna go with the Outlaw. We're gonna predict the top 10 to start out for the Outlaws.
We're
We'll
doing
just go
just top 10.
or
I thought we were doing where everyone
oh
was going to place.
yeah, do top 10, like we'll say the top 10, but if they're not in the top 10, we'll just say not top 10.
Okay.
Unless you have them ranked.
I have them all ranked.
Oh, okay. Well, I can do I did not do that, but for the Outlaws I can do it because they only got 12, so now it'd be easy to do on the spot. But high limit, I'll probably end up messing up. So we'll just do not or outside top 10 for them, if that's okay.
I'll just say mine and you can avoid the question since you didn't do your homework.
Well, I was the one that assigned the homework and you misunderstood the assignment. So
Didn't give me any instructions.
I said, I thought, no, wait, maybe I didn't. I thought I did. Yeah.
Prediction of where full timers will finish in point standings.
Well, I thought I texted you what to do, but maybe I didn't. But
Anyways,
anyways, so st we're just gonna go through alphabetical order. Um, so starting out for the Outlaws, Bill Baylog, where do you have him finishing in the points?
11th.
I have him finishing ninth. Um, so Bill Rose, where do you have him?
I have him 8th.
I have him outside top 10, and if I'd pick, it'd be 12th.
It's fair.
I think you're on crack if you have Bill Baylog below Bill Rose, but that's just me.
I didn't know which one was which, so I just I just put one of them in each spot. So maybe they're backwards.
Yeah, probably. Uh, Baylog's the one that drives the 17 maple syrup car.
Okay. Yeah. He should be 8th. Bill Rose can be 11th. Sorry.
Brock, where do you have Brock Searfrost?
I have him right at number 10.
I have him eighth. Um, where do you have Buddy Coford?
4th.
I have him fifth, so we're pretty close on that. Where do you have Carson Macedo?
Number 2.
That's where I have him. I'm guessing you have David Gravel number one then?
Yep.
Me too. Kind of making this boring now. Uh, Donnie Schatz, where do you got him?
I have him at 5th.
I have him at seventh.
Okay.
Where do you have Gio Solzi?
I have him at 7th.
I have him at third. He finished fourth
3rd.
last. He finished fourth last year,
It's true, but Buddy Kofoid wasn't running full time
but
last year.
this is Buddy's first time going full on Outlaws.
He also almost just won the Chili Bowl, so I I
Gio
think he'll
has
do
more.
pretty well.
Gio, I think they're both do well. I have them third and fifth respectively, so it's not like I don't think they'll do good.
Where do
Where
you
do
have
you have?
Sheldon at?
Hold on, we'll get there. Where do you have Landon Crawley?
last, number 12.
I'd have him 11th. I feel like Bill Rose isn't. Uh, Landon Crawley's going to beat Bill Rose in the points somehow. Logan Schuchart, where do you have him?
Right below Donnie Schatz at number 6.
I have him at fourth. He's finished top three before. I think he can have another good season. I think he finished fifth this past year or something like that. Uh, where do you have Noah Gas?
Number 9.
I have him 10th. Uh, and then where do you have Sheldon Hodgenshield?
Number 3.
I have him 6th. He's too inconsistent.
I think you're on
He,
correct.
dude, he's either hot or cold. Like he's either doing really good or you're like Sheldon's racing. Like I love him. I think he's a great driver, but he's just for whatever reason that he had a couple years ago, he was like really good, and then he's just been inconsistent in the past couple years. And I just think it's bad luck, and maybe it'll change this year. But I think saying 6 is being generous because Donnie Schatz is just has been more consistent in his career.
Oh, I put Donnie Schatz above him. Or no, I didn't. Sorry. Sorry. We'll just continue on.
But like I have them both lower than what you have them. But uh so we'll go into the who do you have for the Outlaw Rookie of the Year?
Um, are we going top, bottom to top now? Or did I read it wrong?
The or oh you know what, we'll go yeah, we'll just
That's fine. We can just do rookie of the year. I picked Buddy to be rookie of the year.
that's who I have to. Sorry about that. I have my list of top 10 or like not list on something else and I didn't include the other ones on it. So, but yeah, I have Buddy as the rookie of the year as well. I mean, it's like him, Bill Baylog, and Landon Crawley, and
Yeah.
Buddy just has like one of the top funded teams in the country behind him. So just
So, who's going to lead the series and wins?
I have Carson Macedo.
Okay. I have David Gravel for the fact that there was too many races last year where I saw David Gravel finish second to Brad Sweet or somebody. So I just think he's going to have the most wins.
I could see that. I feel like Macedo. I don't know if he led the series and wins last year or not. I'd have to check that, but I know he usually rips off a bunch of wins, but like he just isn't consistent enough to stay in the championship fight the past couple years. But he's always like ripping off a bunch of wins, and Gravel does too. I feel like Gravel will be the consistency like Sweet was.
Hmm.
And then I think Macedo will just be ripping off wins, and then the next night he's like finishing like 15th or something. But we can go talk about how many number of first time outlaw winners we think there will be.
Okay.
Just kind of
So that, by that question, you meant people who are running the series full time who win.
no, no, I just meant anybody that hasn't won an outlaw race.
Okay.
Just like let's put it at we'll do this instead. We'll do over under 3.5.
Um, I'd say over. I put 4.
I I would love to see over 3.5, but I think it'll be under because this year there was only three. I want to say, yeah, maybe over. I don't know because it's like they're still stacked, but I don't know that. And a lot of the real top teams are high limit now, but not all of them. But I feel like it's going to be under 3.5.
Yeah, I could see it, but I'm gonna go with 4. So what did you mean by number of non-outlaw winners? Like people who are running high limit?
like High Limit or like Danny
Fast.
Dietrich, like
Okay.
anybody that's not an out running full-time outlaws this year, and they could have already won an outlaw race. It's just they're not
Okay.
an outlaw driver.
Okay. Uh, over under of 5.5.
Over.
Yeah, I said over too. I said 7 to 9.
Yeah, I could see 7 to 9. I mean, you got the PA. I mean, a lot of the top PA guys are not going to be in PA a ton. Well, they'll probably be there for like the big outlaw races, unless they're in high limit, which is
Mm-hmm.
just like Brent Marks and Justin Peck. He ran PA a lot last year, but I mean, I don't know. I could see a lot of high limit guys possibly stealing wins and local guys. There's a lot of good local or true outlaw teams that could steal wins. So I could 7 to 9 makes sense. I think it's actually probably around there because I feel like he typically around there, but I could be wrong. Um, how many PA Posse wins over the Outlaws? There's 10 races in PA. So just like just say the number of races you think that we could pull off a Posse win.
I didn't know there was 10, so I have to rethink my thought.
A
3.
lot of them, three.
Yeah.
I'd say like four.
Yeah.
I could like it'll be hard with Brent Marks not being there. I think he usually got a couple of them,
Yeah.
but I mean I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully it's more than four. At least split it with them, but we'll see.
It's
Um.
true.
Okay, so now or do you have more to say about that or
No,
no?
no.
Okay, so we'll go to the high limit top 10 predictions. We'll go alphabetical order again. I did not rank outside the top 10. I just said outside top 10, but you can say what
We'll
you
just go
think.
down. We'll go down the names. I'll tell you what I have, and you can
Yeah.
base yours off of what I have.
Yeah. And then try to remember all mine correctly. Um, so Brad Sweet,
I have Brad Sweet at number 2.
I have him as number one, and I'm so interested in who you think is number one.
Rico Abreu.
I thought so. I'm like,
Okay, so here's the thing. I
at first
had
I
Brad
was like, at first
I
I was like,
had Brad Sweet at number 1, but the race we went to last year, him and Larson raced so hard that they both sent each other off the tracks.
but it's
So
not. Okay, I'll
what?
let you keep going. Keep going, and I'll throw my
It's overall
rebuttal.
wins, isn't it? Overall, 1 through 17, like top drivers, right?
Like top, like where they're finishing the points.
Yeah,
But Brad wasn't racing for points at the race at Lernerville. He was racing for that 50K. He
I know he
he didn't
wasn't
have to.
racing.
He's not gonna race like that
He
where
owns
he
the freaking
loses.
series.
Yeah, but
What does he
he'll
care?
be racing for points. Like he's not
I don't know.
gonna like
Either
go
way,
too
I think
crazy.
him and Larson are going to race very hard during the midweek series, and Rico's going to win more events because of how hard they're running.
The med week doesn't count for the over like the med week is separate from the overall points.
I still think Rico goes first.
Okay. Anyways, we'll go on to the next name. Uh Brenham Crouch is the next name on our list. Where do you got him?
16,
Yeah, I'd probably put him there as well. So Brent Marks, where do you got him?
third.
I have him second. Where do you have
Where do you
Chris
have
Windom?
Rico at?
Third.
Where you just said you have? Oh my gosh. Okay.
I have Brent
Uh,
Marks second.
I got you. I got you.
And
I
I'll
don't agree. I don't agree
we'll
with that at all, but
we'll explain our what we think once we get through this. Where do you have
who's next?
Chris Wyndham?
12. Number 12.
I mean, I might have him at like 14th, closer to 14th, maybe. I don't know. I'd have to look at the whole all the names again, but I can think of a couple guys that would probably be ahead of him. Connor Morrell,
Last. 17.
I would put him at 17th as well. Uh, where would you have, or where do you have Corey Day?
I have him as 14. And the only reason that I don't have him above Chris Wyndham is because he just hasn't like ran that much.
I
And I
have
think
him,
that'll screw him a little bit.
I have him at ninth.
It's a bold statement.
Well, Dirt Tracker, Justin Fiedler from Dirt Tracker, yesterday actually, he said he would get the fifth charter, so that means he would finish top five in points then. And he because Jason John or excuse me, not Jason Johnson, Jason Myers is his car owner, and he two-time outlaw champ,
I just think there's too
and
many good guys.
Corey Day has had success everywhere, like out west, and then when he came to the Midwest, ran very well, and look how he won his prelim night at the Chili Bowl and finished
It's true.
top three, or yeah, he
I
finished third. So it's
I
just,
do have to say, like, my 10 through 17 could be in like any order, except for like the bottom three, in my opinion. So like 10 through 14, I could put them in any different order, even like 15.
I mean, I think even going clear up to like after listening to that like Dirt Track Daily, I was like, man, maybe my top five is not. Like I'm like, I don't know. I'm like Marks at second because he said some
I'm
stuff
going
about
Rico.
Marks, and then he had some stuff about Rico, and then I'm like, oh, dude, I don't know.
I'll
But
jump on that Rico train. You give me unlimited money, I'll
dude,
buy every single apparel Rico owns.
you wanna
I'll
go
buy
meet
his
him though.
stuffed dog.
You wanna go meet him and get a picture with him at Lernerville.
He was in his
I
booth.
so
Oh, my
it,
bad.
we would have met Dale Jr. if we went to Larson's merch trailer, but we were like, oh, we don't see Dale Jr. Well, I was like, we don't see him, so I don't know where he's at. Like after he does his live show on Twitter, I see that he was in the merch trailer with Larson. I'm just like,
I'm
damn,
sorry that I just don't walk up to guys while they're in their booth and be like, "Hey, can I talk to you?"
dude, that's why th're there. That's why they're in their merch trailers.
I didn't see you
Yeah,
walking up to any merch trailers.
well, because I didn't see Dale Jr. at one. Next, well, and now we want to go walk up to drivers in their pits and interview them. And we,
It's different. It's different now. We got 54 viewers on our last podcast. We're famous now. It's different.
yeah, I
Everyone
suppose
knows
you're
us.
right. I suppose you're right. I mean, dude, we got a picture with Kevin Swindell and Christopher Bell, and you're too scared to go up to Rico. Well, I was the one that walked up and asked about a photo with both of them. So I guess I should have walked up to Rico and got a picture first.
You
So
don't
then
even
you would
like
have
Rico.
felt,
You put him at third.
if I didn't like him, I'd put him at like 17th. I just think Brent Marks
Third.
ran with the Outlaws before. Rico hasn't ran the national tour yet. That's why I have him.
Oh
I
no, he just dominated the entire midweek series. Barely
But
got
it
second
was
overall.
it's not the grind like a national series though. That I could see Rico finishing third and my Siri went off on my phone. But probably because I said series. But I
You,
let's just move on.
all right,
Corey Eliason, where do you have him at?
15.
Yeah, I would he was one of the names that came to mind and went doing better than Chris Wyndham. Just
Yeah, like
because
yeah,
but it's like I don't know. There's a lot of guys that I could see being anywhere, like the pretty much like seventh to like 14th or so. I could see being anywhere. Like pretty much only two that I see not being able to maybe get in the top 10 are Brendan Crouch and Connor Morrell.
yeah, I would agree.
Um, just because they're so young mainly. But Jacob Allen is next on our list. Where do you have him?
I have Jacob Allen at 11th. And I put him there because he obviously took like half the season off last year. And I don't know what this year is going to entail. So I didn't include him in my top 10 because I don't know if he'll run the whole series.
I think he will. I have him at six, and I think he'll run the full series because it's 60 races versus the 80 the Outlaws are on. So he'll have more time off, more time to take a break from the grind, and I think it'll be a lot better situation than he had to deal with being on the Outlaws.
That's true. And I didn't take into account how good shark racing equipment is when I made this either.
And
So
and he has experience on the West Coast. He has like 10 years worth of experience as an outlaw. So I just don't he could push for a top five spot, but I think six is a good spot, especially with him having some time off this past year. I mean, he did hop in the car, I think, at BAPS in like November. And I mean he'll probably be down at Volusia next week with the Outlaws running. So he'll have time to get his feet wet again, and I think he'll be end up having a pretty decent year.
he's no Tanner Holmes, but I could see sixth.
I mean, I think that car just that shark car doesn't have as good. I think they get kind of the leftovers, and Schuhart gets the new stuff.
Yeah, you're out
He
there winning $1 million. You'd probably get the new stuff too.
well, no, that was before this year though. I think that's just how it's always been. He just kind of, but I mean, they're both outlaw winners, so like they're both very talented. Moving on to, as my dad likes to say, Joe McFadden's cousin. James
Hmm.
McFadden. Uh, they're
Joe
all
McFadden.
they're
Joe
not
McFadden would
related.
never watch our podcast.
He
I'll tag him in the comments and he still wouldn't watch the podcast.
he did admit that. He said he'd do the 60 just because he's on into racing, but he was going to be a good friend and listen long enough for us to get that view. And Mark as played on Spotify, but
Okay.
to his actually non-relative from down under, James McFadden. Where do you think James McFadden will finish?
Okay. So I know his equipment is really good, but I feel like James McFadden is very consistent with running outside of the top five. So I put him at number seven.
I have him at fourth. He had like five or six outlaw wins last year.
That's like
And
11%. Under that, 6%.
dude, that's more than most outlaw drivers have in a year. And that's like a good season for an outlaw driver.
Where'd he finish?
And points, I'm
Yeah.
not sure, but he also got supposedly there was an issue with tire doping or something. They he got suspended. His team got suspended for like a week or something because of like their tire compound. They got their tires tested and it had an illegal compound like chemical in it or something.
So you're
They
saying
tried to
half of his win shouldn't have counted.
no because they appealed it and they said it was some type of thing like tire washing chemical that they got from somebody like certain races people give products like not br like a brand of products give the team stuff for free and then they said that's what it was and they tried to appeal it and then I think he had like more ones after that. It I don't think I think it was just in that race they had that tire chemical on And I mean, look, if you're saying half his wins shouldn't have counted, then Buddy's win at like in the Roth car shouldn't have counted. Like, you know what I mean? I just think it was a bad situation, but he's going to finish fourth. He has experience on a bunch of tracks, and
He'll
he's
be
a
lucky
great
to
driver.
finish top 10.
Oh, you don't know shit, but anyways, moving on to Justin Peck. Where do you have him finishing?
Number 5.
I have him at eight. He's never ran with a true national series, and I don't think he's ran very much, if at all, on the West Coast. And if he has the luck he had last year, he'll be lucky if he finishes eighth. That man had such bad luck last year. He flipped so many damn times. He almost died at Bridgeport too.
That is true. I forgot about
I
that.
mean, but I think he's talented enough he'll be eighth. And he just finished he didn't ran very well with the 360s last week at Volusia, so he'll probably actually do better than eighth. Moving on to Casey Kane, where you got the former Cup driver.
Okay. So I have Casey Kane and another driver who I'm not naming yet at either 10th or 13th because Casey Kane is one of those guys that will have like the most heater of a qualifying lap, and then he'll go out in the heat race and go from like 1 to 7th. And then he'll start the feature. He'll make up about 10 spots. He'll do some stupid shit and he'll end up like 22nd. So I
I
have him at either 10th or 13th.
I have him outside the top 10, and if I had to choose, I'd have him at 15th because he was supposed to run the Outlaws the past 2 years. You know how many times he finished the whole year?
0.
Yeah.
But it does
And
make sense. It makes sense for him to run high limit with Brad Sweet's car also running high limit.
it's also 60 versus 80 races. And 2 years ago when he ran his rookie year with the Outlaws, he had a really bad wreck at Volusia, I believe, that he missed some time, and then
Hmm.
I think that kind of affected him. And that towards the end of the season, he just kind of dropped off the tour. Very similar to what he did this past year, just without the really bad wreck. But I just don't think he'll finish the tour. He might, now that I'm thinking about the 60 versus 80, so he might finish it. I don't know, but I don't think he'll. I think that there's too much talent for him to. He's talented, but not as much as he was when he was younger. And I just think that there's just better talent.
Would agree.
Moving on to the law firm, Parker Price Miller. Where do you got him?
Parker Price Miller was the other driver that I have at either 10th or 13th.
I have him outside the top 10.
Yeah. See,
I'd have,
he ran pretty good with the All-Stars last year, but he was so in between freaking cars that like
yeah.
he would be either really good or really bad. I mean, at that race we went to, he wasn't that the race that he spun around and
No, I
no.
think that was Justin Sanders.
Yeah, that's who it was.
But Parker Price
Yeah.
Miller, I have him outside the top 10, but I would say he's like 11th or 12th. He'll finish. I could see him being in the top 10 easily.
Yeah.
He's the only thing is it's his family-owned car, so I don't know if the funding, if the West Coast swing might be a little rough, but I don't. I mean, he's very talented, and I dude the like I'm telling you, like the sixth to like 14th, 15th is like so hard to choose drivers like where they're at. Like, and I could see a lot of those guys finishing in the top 10 and not finishing in the top 10. But
I have a really bold take, and you're gonna like shit your pants when I tell you it, but
or
let's
we wait
continue on.
until okay.
Yeah.
So Rico, you already said you have him at second, and I have him at third.
No, I have him at first.
Oh, my
Quit
bad. You have them
quit
at
putting words in
first.
my head.
You have well, when I finished the I already started on the I got the two graphics made partially. I got my half of the graphic done. I just need yours. I'll make sure to put them at you said fourth,
You're funny.
so I'll put them at first for you, and I have them at third. But I could see him finishing second. It was hard to decide between him and Brent Marks. Uh, moving on to Tanner Thorson. Where do you got him?
Number 8.
That's bold, I think. I don't think he'll finish in the top 10. Brand new team, limited experience in a 410 winged car. I think he could finish in the top 10, but I think he'll be more like 13th, 12th, that kind of range. Maybe next year competing for the other five charters.
That wasn't even my bold take, but continue.
I mean, it's not too crazy, but it's a little
You put him
risque.
at 13th? Okay. Who's
Uh,
next?
Tyler Courtney, where do you got Sunshine?
I think Tyler Courtney could be a solid like sixth, or I think he could be a solid like eighth, but I put him as sixth.
I have him at fifth. He's like one of the top guys in the country. Gotten that NOS money behind him. I mean,
It's true.
So does Chris Wyndham. So,
Yeah,
but
Chris Wyndham's not Tyler Courtney though.
they in a midget and a wingless car, they're both two of the top.
Hmm.
Yes, just Wyndham had a lot less winged 410 experience than Courtney did when they both made the switch full time. So that's why Courtney has been going crazy and Wyndham still adjusting. And I think he's been getting into better rides each year. This is his third
That's
team
true.
in 3 years. And I think Clinton Boyles and the Vermeer 55 team, they're going to get that car humming and maybe pull off a win or two.
I'm just happy I don't have to watch Anthony Macri race the Sunshine car anymore. That was just
Oh,
annoying. Like Macri is like the great value version of Brad Sweet.
dude, no, I think the why he didn't do good in that car because different chassis, new team and stuff. They're not used to your driving style, and
I think
there was a lot of
he's a very mid driver. I'm happy to
I
see that he's not racing either series.
I think I think he's gonna have another good year this year. I think he'll be back to how he was 2 years ago,
We'll see.
Macri, because I think that the family owned car is good, and they just stole one of Carson Macedo's crew guys. Well, not stole. He's from PA, so he probably wanted to have a little more time at home,
Hmm.
and he has a good crew chief. So I mean, I think the Macri car is going to be we'll talk about it later, but I think he'll be one of the
Yeah,
top pick and ch choose true
let's
outlaw
keep
types.
going. We have two
So
left, right?
yeah, Spencer Bayston,
Number 9.
I have him at 10th, but I could
Yeah,
see him going higher and I could see him going lower.
yeah,
It's just there's so much talent in that back, like, 6th to 15th range. But moving on to the last one, the 2023 All-Star champ, Zeb Wise.
bold take of the year for me. Number 4.
Uh, uh, that's not too crazy. It's bold, but like I could see it. I have him
I
at seventh,
Yeah,
and I
I
mean,
would 100% say that I believe James McFadden will finish below Zeb Wise.
I don't know, dude. Dude, things could go so wrong for any guy, buddy, because they could get in a bad wreck where like they're just not 100%. I mean,
This is
shoot,
true.
Zeb Wise missed a week of racing because he got a bad concussion at Eldora. And then later on, Tyler Courtney broke his back. And that's why Macri was in the
Yeah,
car. And he met, Courtney missed a long time, and then that's a big reason why the Rudine 26 that Zeb drives won the All-Star owner championship because the 7BC NOS car was not doing as well without Sunshine. So it'll be, I don't know. I'm excited for, well, I'm always excited for racing season, but this episode has me even more. I mean, I've been freaking
I'm ex
watching late
I'm excited
models.
for the high limit series because of Flow Racing, you know. I don't have to
Yeah,
buy a separate live streaming service to watch the Outlaws, but why would I anyways?
I have that.
Oh, congrats.
I'll
Not
talk to
all of
you.
us have a job.
I'll talk to you off air about something, but about that. But anyways, moving on to the high limit rookie of the year. I don't even know if they're having one or how they're doing it because
No, but I did
um
pick somebody.
I picked somebody as well. I just took it as somebody that hasn't ran like Outlaws or All Stars before, since the All
Yeah.
Stars turned into High Limit and the Outlaws is a national series. And I guarantee our rookie of the year is probably the same. I'll let you tell first.
No, you go first.
Corey Day.
Rico Abreu. No, I'm kidding. Corey Day. That was a
I
joke.
did. I didn't count Rico because you ran the midweek series,
No, I'm kidding. I
but
put I put Corey Day.
yeah, I don't even know how they would do rookie of the year. I don't think probably this year they probably won't do one.
Inaugural season best driver. I don't know.
I don't know. Who do you have winning the most races for
Mr.
High Limit?
Abreu, Mr. Rico Abreu.
That's who I have too.
You have him winning the most races of the year, but you don't have him finishing
Uh,
first or second. You have him finishing third.
So he could win.
That's like saying that's like the most bold statement. That's like saying if Haley Deegan was in the Cup Series, she would finish above Kyle Larson.
No, dude, it's like he wins 10 races. Brent Marks went and Brad Sweet went like 7 to 9, but they have more top tens and top fives than Rico, and the points just work out where they're above Rico. It's not too crazy to think that someone who leads the series and
I'll
wins
bet you
doesn't win.
$50 that Rico wins the whole thing.
$50?
$50.
I'm trying to
See,
think.
now you're doubting yourself.
No, no. What I want to do is I'm trying to think of when the uh high limit race or season ends and when the like I'll just have you like whoever loses has to buy the other one's way into a race. But I'd have to see if there's an actual local race that we could go to after the high limit season ends.
Yeah.
And so I'd have to check. It might be like the Stampede.
Well, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I think it ends before then. But I was gonna say if it doesn't, we could end it like the day before point series and go from there.
I'm
Unless
gonna
it's like really tight.
I'm gonna check this right now. Sprintcarratings.com, shout out. That's what I'm doing to find the schedules real fast. Uh, but so October 12th is the final night for High Limit. Not October 12th is the final night of the Stampede.
That works, sort of.
And yeah, well, I guess
I'll buy you here. You know what? If I lose and you win, I will buy you a $2 Bush Light at Lernerville.
okay. Well, if they make them $2, it might be $4.
Jeez, if
But
it's $4, I don't know. I don't know about that extra $2.
But yeah, I'll do the same. So I'll buy you beer at Lernerville, and you'll buy me one if so you're saying if Rico wins. So you got Rico versus the field, and I have the field versus Rico. Is that what we're betting on?
No, we're betting on. Yeah,
Rico
sure.
versus
We go. Yeah,
or are you or do you or
we're
were you
betting it.
meaning
Yeah, we're betting on Rico one or two, or one or nothing. One or nothing.
and
If
I
Rico
say
does, if Rico doesn't win the series, I don't care who wins. I'll never watch again. I'll
that's cap.
never go to another race.
That's cap.
You're right.
Anyways, we'll move on to the other topics uh, to finish up the high limit portion. Uh Number of first time national series winners. I said that as a non-outlaw winner and non-high limit winner.
Oh shit! I took that the wrong way. So my number is skewed then.
Or did yeah, I did. Yeah, because a lot of guys there's like only been like 12 high limit races, and that's why I did it in that way. Um,
What did you say?
I didn't put a number down. I was just going off of discussing it for a lot
Well,
of
I
this.
said 15, so mine is not right at all.
Well, if it was just first time high limit winners, it'd probably be pretty close.
That's what I was thinking.
Okay, well, so not so someone that hasn't we'll do
We'll say someone who hasn't ran a high limit race at all for that one, but they can still be part of the national tour. Let's just move on because this question
yeah,
doesn't make sense.
it does. You're just making it complicated. It's just because it's their first time as a new series, and I didn't know how to. But okay, so first time high limit winners over under 7.5. You said
Under.
over. Well, you
I'm
just said
saying.
you said
Yeah, but I
15.
I labeled it wrong.
But now I'm saying like anybody that
Okay,
hasn't won high
15.
limit.
Over 15. I'll go with my original answer, just like I'll go with Rico.
I'll probably say over as well. I'd say probably like 8 or more. I don't. It, yeah, it's gonna be over 7.5.
Not going to be
There's
over
just
anything if Rico wins every single night.
60 wins in a season. Uh-huh. What?
Never know.
Is he the second coming of Steve Kenzer?
No, but he is the second coming of Jesus. Ever seen that man?
But Jesus didn't drive a sprint car like Steve Kenzer did.
You don't know that. Go to
I mean,
Jerusalem. Let me know.
I'll, I'll, I don't know if I want to go there anytime soon. But moving on before we get canceled, um, or Jesus like takes us out. Um, how many
Jesus is going to take the wheel.
you- uh,
Sorry.
from my experience hitting black ice or like snowy roads and
Or
start
swatting a
sliding,
bee.
you never let Jesus take the wheel.
Okay.
You keep driving that bitch, you know. Anyways, number of non-high roller winners. So that means non-high
Yeah, I know what that
rollers.
one means.
Okay. But uh
7. 7.
I don't think so. I think over under 3.5. I think it's under 3.5.
I don't think so because
Uh I don't
you're gonna get the outlaw guys to run some of the big races.
they only have four freebies, and it'll be I bet you 2 of them will be used at Eldora
Oh, they
the
only have
week of
4
the
now?
Kings. That's how they were last year. They
Oh,
have
okay.
four to keep all their you can run up to four and keep all your benefits. And then
Okay,
if
but
you
does
run,
Kyle Larson count as a high roller? Because he's only running the midweek series.
I would count him as a high roller. Same with Cap Henry because they are a high roller of the midweek series.
Okay, so maybe five.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it probably would be over 3.5, dude. Because I just start thinking of all the good drivers in California and the Midwest around Knoxville, Ohio, PA, the guys that like travel, and I'm like, dude, I don't know. There's a lot of studs out there, so and a lot of races and a lot of places now. So, but the next thing,
That's a great statement. A lot of races in a lot of places. Sorry.
dude, there's like freaking nights. There's like 14 410 races on like multiple Saturdays throughout this coming season. So,
This is true.
so the number of how many races do you think the PA posse will steal wins from the high rollers? There's
How many races are okay? Yeah,
nine
nine,
races in PA. Yeah,
three. I go with a solid 33%.
I think two.
You just don't like to agree with me.
Dude, three of them are at Lernerville. No offense to our local guys, they
That's
just don't
true.
have the money to compete. Like if Lernerville's like it was for the last Highlander race, there AJ Flick said it's not like it was just hammered down. Like it's all about power then, and our guys, the money isn't into racing here like it
Yeah.
is in Central PA. And I
Okay.
don't Central PA, they lost a lot of the big dogs. There a lot of I think they could pull off two, maybe three. I give you three maybe, but I don't know with so many races being at Lernerville, and I don't know how often those guys will travel, how
I
many of
guess
those guys will
with
come to
Brent Marks
Lernerville.
running the series too. I didn't think about that.
And Justin Peck, he was a posse guy last year, basically, because well, his team's based in PA, even though he's from Indiana, but so he's technically was posse last year, but he's also high limit, and I don't know. I like probably two or three. I just feel like it'd be difficult for some of the races,
So
but
let's move on to the last part. Who do you see having the most wins in the whole country?
depending on what he does, AJ Fleck or Freddie Raymer. Freddie Raymer, I led actually Freddie Raymer was number one and AJ Fleck was like second this year. Freddie Raymer, he's losing a lot of big competition from PA with Devin Borden and Macri doing more true outlaw type stuff and Brent Marks leaving and Justin Peck going and like he's gonna do what Williams Grove and Lincoln. Actually, he loses his top competition at Lincoln too with Chase Dietz going. He's racing the Semco car at Port Royal weekly. So like, and then AJ Fleck, I think if he continues to the schedule he's had the past handful of years of Lernerville, Tri-City, and like Sharon or Mercer on Saturday in PPMS,
Well, that's
he'll have a dominant season as well.
I
But
could see him being the most like wins overall. If we're talking the big dogs though, like the pro guys, I'm saying Kyle Larson's still number one with all those guys.
he wasn't number one. Well, I don't maybe the year 2020, I think maybe was the only year that
Okay,
he
so
led
how
the nation. He just doesn't
how
run
how
enough
I
to
well, I also took that as who's going to be like the number one driver in the world this year or in the country this year, not just with sprint
wins.
cars. So that's why I put Kyle Larson there.
Well, who do you think will have the most wins in sprint cars? Is it still Larson, or do you think
No, I would think AJ Flick. I mean, if AJ Flick can win every single week at Lernerville like he did this year, and pop off a few weeks at like Tri City and other tracks, then there's no reason he shouldn't. That's if Tri City's running. I don't know if you saw their
they
Facebook
are?
post. They said they are.
Well,
They said they're going to schedule things out, but it doesn't sound like they're going to run weekly.
no, I think they are going to run. I think their schedule is going to be weekly. They're just trying to get like the Rush series scheduled in. They have a couple fast races, like just kind of like stuff like that, like added to the schedule, I believe is what they meant. But I don't know, dude. That they got put on the Western PA Sprint Speed Week schedule, and they were the only track on the schedule that didn't post reshare the post, and
Oh, I
they
think
just now,
they're still trying to sell the track pretty hard. So
yeah. But I mean, you can still post stuff because like if you're posting stuff, that might entice somebody to be like, oh, there's like interest in the track, like people will actually go and watch. Like I don't know, but that's just me. But I think if they do one run weekly, I mean, and there's enough rate, AJ Fleck, if he's gone to Port Royal quite a bit in the past. He kind of stopped doing that so much last year, and if he just kind of sticks to running more local instead of traveling, I think he could lead. But maybe does he decide to run the fast series like
that's true.
Spithaler? But Spithaler might not run the fast series this year. He's not. I think I saw an article saying he's not sure what he's gonna do. He might
Hmm.
run local, and that'll make it harder because not he's like one of the top guys in PA. And Cy Lynch, he's not gonna be going doesn't have all those all-star races ahead. So does he stick around a little more, or I don't know. There's a
I don't
lot of
know.
stuff, but
So who is your breakout driver of the year?
let's hear yours first. Who do you?
I didn't come up with one.
Ah, I mean, I listed some like Corey Day, Ryan Timms, Justin Sanders, Tanner Holmes, Anthony Macri, and Devin Borden in the past couple years, and like because like each of the past couple years, one of those guys have broken out.
Hmm.
Um, like maybe Dylan Cisney or Justin Whittle from they run Port Royal and Williams Grove and stuff.
Yeah.
I think one of those guys could since with Macri and Borden and Marks traveling more.
Yeah.
Um
Yeah.
I could
That's yeah. Go ahead.
um trying to think Justin Peck maybe he after a rough year last year maybe his luck will change. Buddy, I could see Buddy breaking out and having a real good year. Same with Gio Salzy.
Yeah.
Um someone from out west. Not Dominic Salzy and Justin Sanders are both top guys out there already. Does someone else out there take over and fill in that spot Corey Day left, other than just those two? But I feel like they both could have an even more of a breakout year this year than they have had. Um, maybe like Dylan Bloomfield, he's a guy out in like Cali. Maybe
Hmm.
Tanner Carrick runs Narc a little bit more and has a breakout year. Yeah, I mean, he did very well at the Chili Bowl, so I don't know.
Yeah. Uh,
Oh,
and also,
Chase
yeah,
Randall, I could
yeah,
see him.
I could see that.
He's running Knoxville full time and traveling a little bit. He's one that I could see, and yeah, that's about it. Oh, Garrett
So
Williams as well. Sorry, I keep thinking of
I'm
them.
gonna get this question out. So our final question to
Wait,
end.
no, you
What?
skipped one. Who will be the disappointment of the year?
I did not. Did you just put that one on there?
No, I put that on before we started.
Oh, jeez.
Actually, I put it on
Uh,
before Well, I typed up that intro.
Oh, oh, my bad. Uh,
So yeah, so who do you think will ha not necessarily disappointment, but like bad luck or just not the season we're
I
anticipating?
already have it. You don't have to tell me. James McFadden.
Uh, but you don't expect him to. Well, I guess that's why you think he'll be a disappointment.
I think for him finishing seventh is a disappointment.
Well, according to you, Rico will have a disappointment of a season because you won't because Brad Sweet's going to win the championship. But
It's hilarious.
um, I'd probably say like probably like Sheldon. Well, I don't even know if it
Yeah,
disappointment because he's been right around where I have him finishing. Um, I honestly don't know. Probably AJ Flick. I don't. It would be hard for him to win like 15-ish races for the third year in a row.
yeah.
I just think it'll be tough.
Honestly, okay. So this is kind of a hot take, but I think Buddy could either have a really good season or a really shit season.
I could see it too. I don't know. I could see it. I could see it
Yeah,
going kind of like a mix, like where
yeah.
he's like kind of like his Chili Bowl, where he's
Hmm.
really good and then he just doesn't have the good luck. But instead of finishing second because a track went away, it'll be because he will just have a bad night and like, well, he could have won 250,000 last year at Houston, but his engine blew.
Yeah.
So like the with the Toyota engine, so I don't know.
That's why you shouldn't run Japanese engines in an American
Well,
sport.
the Toyota
American
can win,
dominated
dude.
sport, sorry.
But
You say it can win?
it's proven it can win. Like the engine can win. It just they're fixing the little kinks that they have with the plan. Um,
Just run Chevy.
anyways, uh well, I want to say, did you see how Mario and or Andretti Racing got rejected by F1? Speaking of
No.
America, yeah, they said that through research, uh the F1 brand would bring more to the Andretti brand than the Andretti brand bring into F1. And it's like the bet
F1's
was
petty.
the one of the best drivers in the whole world, in the history of the world. And you say, no, we don't want, and they're like, there won't be competitive enough. I, Twitter's mad. I'm mad. As Americans,
That's so stupid.
we should boycott F1 as
As F
Americans.
as F1 has like 10 drivers and teams that like don't compete every week and are just there.
Dude,
You know,
they said
that's
they
what
wouldn't be
happens.
they said they wouldn't be competitive in F1, and then meanwhile Red Bull won 21 of 22 races this past year. I'm
Yeah,
like,
well,
and
that's
it's
the
like,
thing. There's no salary cap in F1. If your team has more money, you're basically gonna win. Like
but
look at Ferrari, for instance. Like they were terrible for like 4 years because Red Bull just kept dominating, and then Ferrari was like, "Oh, let's put another $500 billion into the company, and we'll win again."
but
It's all about money.
yeah, but I can bring this back to sprint cars because High Limit, their account tweeted at Andretti Global or whatever it's called and said like, hey, or something. So, trying to get, hey, just come race Mario Andretti race sprint cars before. And dude, like, he should just go into NASCAR, and I think he's already in IndyCar and
Hmm.
go to sprint. Just go American based. But yeah, F1 trying to alienate their American foothold already, and they just got it. But anyways, moving on to more sprint car stuff. I have
Our
this.
final is this our final question?
I have a surprise question I want to ask.
Okay.
But this one, who will replace Rico and Brent Marks as the top true outlaws or pick and choosers?
That's the
Um,
surprise question.
no, it's not.
Okay.
That's a question,
Okay.
and then the surprise question is the last question.
Okay. I put Anthony Macri.
Yeah, I would say him and Garrett Williamson. I could see
Hmm.
he just released his schedule today of 80 plus races. Devin Borden, he's going to be traveling a lot more. He's in a good equipment, and I could see it could either go really good for him or really bad. And
I
Brian
think,
Brown likes to
yeah,
travel as well, but I don't think he travels enough to be considered a true outlaw like Rico and Marks. But
I think personally, if Tanner Holmes gets the sponsorship he needs, that eventually he could turn into that true outlaw.
he did say he was going to travel more this
Yeah.
year. So if he travels, I think he said he wants to do like 60 races or more.
Hmm.
So if he travels more out of that like West Coast, I could see him being one of the top guys. It's just hard with like the true outlaw types and or pick and choosers. I feel like you got to do more than just like one region of racing. And
Yeah.
with like any guys on the West Coast, it's just hard to go West Coast to the Midwest or even to the East Coast is even harder. But I mean, but yeah, I don't disagree with you saying Macri or possibly Tanner Holmes if he can get the sponsorship and can make it out to the
Hmm.
Midwest some more. Hopefully he comes to PA at Lernerville or even Sharon. I'd be happy to just
Yeah.
come where we can watch them. And then the surprise question, it's a hypothetical. Um, so let's say wake up tomorrow, you have like $1 billion or like whatever,
Okay.
and you get so I just went off of like the how NASCAR like top teams have four cars. You get four cars, top of the line equipment and everything, and you got the funding to do whatever you want and have whoever you want drive. Who are your four drivers that you would have drive your car, your sprint cars, and what, like a general explanation of where you would have them run? Like, would you have them two go high limit, two go outlaw, or would you have one do like PA only, or like kind of like that?
Damn. Um,
I haven't even
Ky-
thought about it.
Kyle Larson, obviously, for one of them. Uh, Christopher Bell. I would put Rico in the mix, but I don't know who I would pick for fourth. I think I would have three guys that run a national series, um, and one guy who runs like PA stuff. Um, I think for PA, I would have Brent Marks run PA stuff. Um,
Uh, so would you have Larson run high
uh,
limit?
yeah, I'd have Larson and Christopher Bell run high limit, and I'd have Rico run outlaw.
See, I'd just going off, I'd have Kyle Larson do pick and choose, run everywhere and anywhere all the time because he's so damn good. He can just win everything. Yeah, but that like going off for your top four. Um, so my top four, and that just really messed up my mind. Um, shit, because I did not think about Larson or Seabell, but I'm gonna throw those two in mine. Um, I would have you really messed. So I'd have Larson do high limit and
Hmm.
run pick and choose wherever, whenever, and then I'd have Seabell run outlaws. But I could also break the outlaw rule because if I have $1 billion, I mean, I don't care. Um, then hot take, I'd have Blaze Myers
Sure.
drive because I would love to see him and have a chance in top equipment, and I'd have him run like PA mainly, a lot of Western PA stuff, and mix in some Central stuff in Ohio. Kind of like a Danny Dietrich type vibe of pick and
Yeah.
choose. in the PA, Ohio areas. Um, dude, almost was gonna say Chase Randall, but I'll go with Corey Day, and I'd have him run West Coast as much as possible, and then
Hmm.
when he's not out on the West Coast, have him going into like the Midwest. But originally, I was thinking, have one guy do a touring series, and then have a guy in California in the Midwest based in Knoxville, and a guy in PA, Ohio. But you could almost just do a guy in each area, out west, Knoxville, Midwest area. Oh, just
It's
Ohio,
true.
a guy just in Ohio and a guy just in PA. And that and then
Be
you
a
could
lot of
just
money.
mop the floor anytime the big dogs come to town.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought that'd be a fun hypothetical
Yeah,
situation. And
I agree.
I'm second guessing all my choices, and just I'm like, I don't, it's my mind's completely blown now that you said Larson and Seabell. But then I'll do it for this episode. Um, we're gonna try to get some guests here in the coming weeks. Um, no promises on who we can get. Uh, but expect Kyle Larson, Seabell, maybe Ryan Blaney to talk about the Lou Blaney Memorial. You know, Brad Sweet, some light stuff.
It's light work.
But yeah, so like, comment, subscribe, rate 5 stars, follow. We're on like everything. Um, so just find us. We're out there, and go to a dirt track when they open up.
Make
And
sure you support Rico. He's gonna go #1
just,
overall.
hey, just support racers in general. Dirt, asphalt, I don't care. Just support a race car driver and help grow the sport. And um, might get canceled for this, but fuck F1.